which I used to love as a kid. It was like an 80s movie. So I talked a little bit this morning about Y2K nonsense, and I made it, I related to how it applies to every single decade, century, anytime. It definitely does. But I noticed that I was seeing people post videos where I just think they're not helpful. They're not helpful. Like, especially if you like refer to yourself as fat in the video and you're like, oh, I need to lose weight. Not helpful. It's not healthy, health conscious, because I'm all about health. And yes, I weigh myself, but I just am beginning to think there's something super unhealthy when we live in a society and culture when we hazard to think how anybody else should look, or to imply that, oh, I'm not healthy because I put on some weight. Like, I'm not talking about Tess Holiday like style, like extreme overweight, but I do think, and I have seen, and I am concerned about the pro-Anna stuff that's stuck on the rise again. And then some people, I don't know, I'm just not going to comment on this person's videos anymore, because it just seems like they're leaning into this kind of content, but then people are like, oh, but this is so healthy to lose lots of weight and to be super, super thin. And I'm like, yes and no. And, well, that was one big giant reason I never really jived with the whole vegan community. I eat plant-based, but I wasn't really big into veganism because, look, a lot of people that do follow, like, especially when veganism was really big, like vegan content creators, like, they would go to this market night, and I would go to it too. And well, I started going in 2018, between like 2018 and 2020, when the pandemic hit. They no longer had. But the reason a lot of people would go to this market night is because you could get this authentic Mexican food that was plant-based, and the people who made it were very cool. But I thought some of the people that would wait in line to buy the food were just not super accepting, because people sometimes wonder, like, oh, why do vegans have a bad name? Well, first off, I don't know, vegans have the lovely reputation of going into like restaurants and steakhouses and antagonizing people eating there. But then the part I find very confusing about that is some of those same people are now on the carnivore diet. It's like they were okay to be a young wild one running around harassing people. I don't know, I didn't get it. And then there was a lot of, I know mostly about plant-based stuff, a lot of really disordered eating attitudes in the vegan community. Like, they're saying things like, you need to eat high carb and low fat, which actually I don't think that fats are bad for you. Like, and just now people they're perpetuating these lies again, and there's a couple of vegan doctors who, in general, I do respect them, but I don't think, like, as time goes by, all of their recommendations are sound, because they go around a lot just telling people to keep their diets like super low fat. And I was never like a super low fat vegan. Like, I love hummus and I love olive oil. And there was this guy, this one vegan YouTuber, he was going around telling everybody how to make hummus without tahini, and that's not hummus. Okay, it's not hummus. You're lying. You're lying to yourself. But I don't know. It's just a lot of disordered stuff in the vegan community, and you know, I think if somebody says a video kind of triggers them, it does kind of trigger them. And I do think, just in general and in society too, I have a problem with people telling other people what they should weigh, because you don't know unless you're a flip-flop nutritionist and you're working with somebody on their diet plan. You just don't know, and you kind of look like a dodo thinking you know. I don't know. And I can see why those women were feeling, or men, but it was mostly women commenting, might have felt a little triggered. And then people are like, oh, but if you said somebody looks good in their video and they really shouldn't worry, they're like, that's horrible to say because they know what's best for them. Okay, so they know what's best for them. That's true. But this is another reason why I don't really go commenting on a lot of people's videos, because even commenting on a lot of people's videos seems very extroverted in a way, because it's like you have to be part of this extroverted group dynamic where, I don't know, whatever the group has decided that this is the cool thing to think. But I don't feel that way. I'm bored and I'm tired of people, especially women, and this is very prevalent with women, sitting around and talking about how they need to lose weight, talking about how they need to take Wegovy or Ozempic, which by the way have health consequences. And I'm just seeing a lot of this Y2K nonsense coming back. Don't fall for it. Like, you can eat healthy, and to me, being active and being healthy is more important than a Y2K aesthetic. So I don't know. I don't understand. It's like, I think people, like, things come in cycles, and I didn't think it was that bad, but I'm just beginning to see it, like a lot of, like, how I lost fat fast, which, by the way, that's code word for a crash diet. Like, I remember being a kid in the 80s, and there were these, like, weird articles and ads for, like, crash diet stuff. And, I don't know. But then people get upset, like, when you say, hey, maybe that's not healthy, maybe that's not a good idea. They're like, but that's not positive. But maybe the person making that comment is being positive, and they're trying to show you there might be another side to this story, another side. Because unless you're a nutritionist, I find it very problematic, very scary, not healthy to really be, and also too kind of bored. Why don't we talk about eating a healthy meal and being active for 10 hours straight? Like, why is this like aspiring to look a certain way the most important thing? Because I actually think a lot of curvy women look amazing and beautiful, and I don't know, that's kind of how I think. And you know, if you're naturally thin, I'm not saying that's not beautiful, but there's just so many women that I think are so beautiful, and our conventional Y2K, like, pro-Anna aesthetic kind of, like, well, here's an example, a really toxic example. Have you seen, I would always actually bring it on the wrong movie. I call it Get It On. There's a character, and I'm talking about the first installment, I'm not talking about the remakes. And this woman, she looks healthy, but basically the entire premise of the movie is to keep talking about how the coach thinks that she has too round of a derriere or something, and it's kind of toxic. And then I felt like we're kind of getting to the point where I felt like society knew that, was beginning to become clued on to knowing that. And this is not giving people license to weigh like 500 pounds. No. I'm just thinking there's got to be a middle way. This Y2K nonsense is just that. I mean, you saw it in other decades as well, but I call it Y2K nonsense because a lot of young people were very, very little when Y2K happened. And I think, like, now, like, this aesthetic's coming back, or they may have been in elementary school, and it's kind of being romanticized a little bit. But it wasn't very romantic. A lot of it was, like, misogynistic, stalkeristic articles in, like, the magazine Cosmopolitan. And my mom used to tell me she really hated Cosmopolitan magazine. And I would read it, like, occasionally in my early 20s. I thought, haha, it's kind of silly. But looking back, it's kind of like a dumpster fire. It really is. Like, Cosmopolitan magazine, I mean, I don't know what it's like today, but it kind of is like a dumpster fire when you think about just some of the things that were written in magazines like that. And some of the, I don't know, just things that were kind of way out there, and just advice, and that was like what I think young people used to do, was like read magazines more in the Y2K era. And now, I guess they go on the TikToks or Instagram or whatever influencer it is for that day, who's like posting things. So I rarely comment on things, but I was mildly concerned, like, when you, I don't know, it just, the title I do think was there to get attention. They got attention, but it also just reminded me why I very much just don't like to comment on videos that other people post. Very rarely, and if I do, I'm very selective about what I say, and sometimes I hold back what I really think. Because, I don't know, not safe really, in my opinion. Like, who wants to go there? Who wants to have discussions with people that act like they're so open-minded, but you question one thing that they post, and you're like, that's a little problematic. They don't think it's problematic, and you're left thinking, why did I feel that way? They seem to think that what they posted was perfect, but I just do not think. Well, here's another example, okay? I know, like, right now there's this big push to have, like, this kind of, like, I only was interested in plant-based content because I eat plant-based, but it seems like there's also this push, not beyond the plant-based thing, like, just this push talking about, like, crash dieting and things that are just not healthy. But, you know, I don't know what to say about that. People have a lot of deep opinions, or they just want to post something that's trending, and I'm like, how do you post something that's not trending and you just are true to yourself? That's probably the best thing you can post ever. So I don't know. Y2K wasn't all that. There were a lot of things in that era that just were kind of problematic, and I don't romanticize it. I don't know. Like, it was also an era when, okay, here's another example. Like 2003. There was a writer's strike because they didn't want to give the writers more pay and benefits, like, for shows. And I kind of trace this back to, like, I don't watch a lot of television now. I've seen a few movies, and I like some Disney stuff. But I always wonder, like, why don't I like a lot of shows these days, or movies? And 2003 is, like, when they started doing more reality TV because they didn't need as many writers, and they didn't need to pay a writer. And I always thought reality TV was very problematic, and those shows feature a lot of people that just would promote certain ideas, and you have all sorts of shows like The Bachelor, and it seems like harmless fun, right? But there's just a lot of things out of that era that are not super healthy, I think, that I just don't want to romanticize. Oh, and Facebook. Okay, so Mark Zuckerberg, nowadays, he's married, he has a child, he seems like a consummate nerd, but you know, in 2003, why did he create Facebook, buddy friends? It was a site for rating girls at his university with his friends. I mean, it's kind of like, when you think about it, like, the original intent behind some of, like, these things, I'm like, I don't know. There were just a lot of things that came out of that era. Oh yeah, I kind of jumped around a lot. I didn't talk about why I was not a super fan of some of the vegans, and I think there were some vegans that used to go to our local market night that might have had smaller YouTube channels, but they follow a lot of the bigger ones, and they would always talk like they would say things like, if they saw somebody, like, I would think, okay, if you were plant-based, you'd be happy that people were trying vegan food, right? Like, I don't know. I'm doing good. So you would just think, like, they would, I don't know. You just think they'd be, like, more embracing, but they would always be saying things like, where you could hear them very rudely. Like, there was this one woman that was a larger woman, and she ordered some vegan jackfruit nachos, which, even though it's junk food, it wasn't too junky. Like, it's a little bit healthier, I would say, than some things. And somebody said in line that she shouldn't be there ordering food, and I was thinking, what should she eat? Should she starve herself because you don't like her and the way she looks? And I just found that all sorts of problematic. Like, and we have that kind of mentality kind of popping up again, where some people just think that unless you look a certain way, that you should just be invisible, and that you should go away. And if and when you ever look a certain way that they think you should look, then you can be recommitted to society. And then even just for regular, normal people, there would be some younger people in line, like just anybody. It was a popular line. They'd be like, "Oh, I didn't know vegans could be bigger than this," and just really disordered things. Like, you shouldn't be talking about other people that way. I don't think you should talk about yourself that way. You should be uplifting, like, in all your thought process. Like, people that are uplifting, that are living their lives, that are promoting health, I don't think they're going around talking about other people or themselves that way. That's just my whole thing. So I think going forward, I know there's always going to be people, and I know it's very popular, and a lot of women love to commiserate with each other about how they should lose weight, but I can't help but think how unhealthy these conversations have always been. So unhealthy. I would just, and it goes farther. Like, there were episodes on the Food Network with Giada where she would say, like, she would make something to eat, and some of the people would say things like, "Oh, we need to hit the gym tomorrow." I'm just like, where does this all end? Like, can't we just enjoy food and then live an active lifestyle? Like, I don't get it. But, you know, that's where you kind of have to separate yourself from, like, what's popular and what's trending, whether it be a magazine in 2003, a Pinterest board in 2013, or a TikTok, YouTube influencer in 2024, because I just don't think that following whatever is trendy at the moment, and that's part of why I love long hair and skirts. But I just had to kind of have my thought process on this issue, because I've just been kind of, I'm not even somebody that had like an eating disorder, but just seeing like people that have suffered from that, and they kind of like mention to someone that, you know, this kind of bothers me a little bit, and that person doesn't really address it and just kind of leans into that content. It sort of makes me thinking going forward, it always solidifies why I don't really comment on other people's videos. Like, I love comments on my videos, but I'm not a big branch out and comment on a lot of videos for these particular reasons, you know. I don't know. And yeah, that's just how I believe and feel about a lot of this. A lot of the problematic stuff it always pops up again and again. And I just think if you're the kind of person that indulges in those thoughts, like if you're thinking that somebody should look a certain way, you're wrong. They should look the way that they look. And they can look however they want. And you are not the steward of how they should look. Kind of makes you not nice. In my opinion. My estimation. And when people start saying things like that, I just want to go outside and look up at the trees and look for birds and be outside and be away from people that engage in that stuff. That's my reaction. Because I don't know. But then people get high praise for it. And you know what? I'm just gonna live my healthy life. I'm not gonna seek out people that are engaging in these things. I really do want to braid my hair. Just thinking about how I want to part it. It's like the parting in the Red Sea. Here's the red. kind of. But I'm sort of glad that I spoke out and up against Y2K nonsense, right? Ugh. Relief. Weight off my shoulders. It wasn't all that in a bag of chips. Just saying. Just like the 90s. Like, every decade can be beautiful, but the things that get romanticized, they're by younger people who didn't live through it. I'm just telling you. There were a lot of things that, looking back, are just kind of messed up. Things that people thought were funny too, that not all of it is super funny. I'm not wearing my glasses. What's that? Glasses. It's not even a straight line. No, it's still not going to be straight yet. I want it straight. No, I guess that's good enough now. The bonus is I've really been leaning into this coconut oil now that it's completely liquefied. Maybe finish using it up this summer, and then I will, once I run out of oils that I have that are pre-made, I think I'm just going to use like coconut oil that I microwave from the kitchen or olive oil in my hair. Like, I don't plan on buying any more oils. Well, I never even bought these oils. Like, all these hair oils I have, these are just ones like my mom. I've always have loved Yves Rocher, but I'm kind of on a quest this year to finally make my own gardenia oil, like to put some gardenias in oil and just boil it a little bit, and that means you can't have as much. But I don't know, that's kind of something that I want to try this year. It's something that I'm getting ready to think about doing. Yeah, just put this side of section aside for a moment. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da da da. I'm gonna answer that. You get your introvert on a high level. This is my answer. Like, there are people I talk to, but I just love the introverted life. It just gives you so much joy. Even online, like, you can connect with people, but like, I like to keep it more, like, I like to make my videos, like, anybody's welcome to watch my videos, but I really do feel like my videos appeal to the introverted perspective of people that just want to live life for their happiness, not for other external factors, you know? Just saying. Just trying to smooth out my hair to my satisfaction. I love water for smoothing down your hair. I use a little bit of water, a little bit of oil, but never hair gel. Never hair gel, because I just don't like it. Honestly, I've never been a hair gel girly. It's not like it doesn't feel like it's smooth enough in the back. They weren't really super smooth. So I have questions. Where do you take your long hair content from here? Well, this is my strategy. On YouTube, I've continued to just post, occasional long hair video and also some long hair live streams, but talking about whatever topics come to my mind. And I'm kind of doing the same thing on TikTok a little bit, like I'm kind of branching out a bit. Sure if I'm 100% happy with my hair yet. Oh, Yeah, you do. I've noticed that ever since I trimmed my hair. Like your ends are more blunt, and that means like the back of my hair is like kind of shorter in a way to give me more of a straight hemline. But it was kind of nice trimming my hair in a non-Yui format. I really did like it. feel like I should have been able to braid it down further, but I think it's just because of where the braids hit and whatnot. There's something about the way that my hemline is. It's like it doesn't want to go further down in the braid. Yeah, I see. It's because of the way my hemline hits. It's really cute though. I do love it. Fun. This was fun. Lots and lots of fun. I could braid the bottom part actually. I could do that. That would be a fun new look for it, right? That could be fun. Anyway, thanks for watching.